have to stay present, as we were saying, in the spirit and the mindset of God. That's the only way we can continue to humanize AI, is if we stay present in the image and mindset of God. I have to repeat that, because there is no human without God, without the higher presence, right, guiding us. If you take that away, then you do have robots.
And so we have up here a dynamic duo, multifaceted duo. So we have Kween to my right, and we have Humble G to my left, that you guys just seen and heard his experience and his expertise as well. So we're like, well, why is Kween up here? Well, what is she doing up here besides being so lovely and fabulous? Yeah. So let everyone know what your role is with International Multimedia Group AI.
Yes, so I'm co-founder of IMG AI. My husband and I have actually been in the entertainment business together for the last 10 years. As a couple, as a unit, been grinding together. Of course, he's been doing his thing before then for a long time, but we believe there's power in unity, and when people are able to unite, especially couples, and you're moving under God's word and God's prominence and division, then you can get a lot more done and have a lot more impact. And so we've been moving on assignment, and we've been moving through the entertainment industry. I have an entertainment background as well. I'm an artist, dancer by trade, acting. I'm a teaching artist. I've done a lot of different things, photography. So I'm a multifaceted artist. And so we just kind of clicked in that space. And so it was natural for us to kind of work together, doing entertainment. And so that just kind of grew, and our path grew, and we evolved together and decided to move into the AI space. As we were evolving, we saw the connections with art and AI and expression and creativity and technology and being able to tell stories. And so a big part of my upbringing has been a part of community circles, and Afrocentric circles and communities where we express through oration, through storytelling. And so a big part of my personal expression has always been storytelling through movement, through photography, through any way that I could possibly find. And so it was just a natural evolution to step into this new technology where, for me, I could finally find a way to tap into the visual arts. Because I'm not, I'm not a painter. I'm not that crafted and that skilled. If you were at the event yesterday, and I know Nikki B was, there was some beautiful artwork on display. And so I'm so grateful to have been amongst those artists. But for me, I've always been a good writer, and dare I say, and to some degree, speaker. And so I was able to find a connection. If you've played with chat before, you know that a lot of it goes to prompting, as you mentioned earlier, and being able to really conceive and imagine with your spirit first, and then translating that into words and to create something that can then respond and give you a response back, right? And so it's that call and response. If you know I go, anybody know I go? So y'all with me. So even when we think about technology, when we think about AI, for me, there was really a spiritual connection. And my husband and I, when we talk about the origins of AI, as artificial intelligence stemming from actual intelligence, which really originates with ancestral intelligence.
She's taking all my money.
Listen. So I'm gonna give the quick spiel on that, but not to take not to take all the time on that, but we're not going to circle back too far. But I have to mention that because for me, it's a spiritual piece. Art is spiritual, and if we have any artists in the house, you all know how spiritual art is. And so even as we're moving through this technology, we can't forget that. And I think it has to be present, especially for our people to know and understand that everything that we do has already been done. It's just being expressed in a new way. And so for me, I have been able to, create through prompt and create through writing, which is coming through spirit, which is allowing me to create beautiful images in a way that I have never been able to do before. And so I'm able to tell stories in a way that I could never have conceived before in the way that I was doing and expressing myself. And so I'm really grateful. And I will say this man has been very helpful in speeding up my education. He was the one that kind of jumped into it full force. And so, like I said, we work together. We are a power couple. We are on assignment together. And so we work together to make sure that we're still moving in the right spaces to be able to have impact in our community. And so I'm grateful that we're able to be up here today to talk about it. So
I love that. Yes. Thank you for sharing all of that. You just took a lot of my questions off of these papers here, but it's all good because we'll dive back right into what you were talking about so we can unpack some of those things here. And so one thing that I love before we go to Humble, as something we talked about before and how you also let people know who you are and what you do. You say that you're a budding technologist. I love that so much because I fall under that category as well. Does anyone else fall into a budding technologist when it comes to technology? And what I mean by that is you're willing and you're open to explore to find out how to make AI work for you. So please, I want to see your hands. Who's a budding technologist out here? So we have them all in the room. Hey there, Nelson. How are you? Nice to see you. He's not a budding technologist, you guys. He's like a genius right here. Nevertheless. So now, Humble, to you. So he's the lead technologist, but I will keep that there. So let everyone know what your role is with International Multimedia Group AI.
Okay, so I just want to thank y'all for having me and allowing me to perform. I know I'm sweaty, but I got proof that I was working. So. But Nikki, thank you for having me. I love it when me and my wife can be on stage and just show the power of family, you know, and the power of sacred union. And it didn't start with us being able to work with each other. Actually, we were friends for 10 years, and she just didn't see me as, I guess, being, you know, but I didn't try anything, you know, but she was doing her thing, which was a good thing for me, because I was finding out for so many people, she thinks she's doing this, but she was traveling the world and getting her degree and working and doing things with Michelle Obama and all types of things. I was just out here playing at open mics and getting done wrong by the music industry and all of that. And she came back and what happened is we connected. We dated for a year or less than a year, and then we got married, and we've been married for 9 years. So
congratulations! It's a mouthful for marriage and commitment and creating, right?
Yes,
community. So
yes, and so I would say I am lead technologist and co-founder of International Multimedia Group AI, and we are in multimedia, so we were already repurposing film, repurposing shorts. We were already doing graphics, already doing animation, and we had some clients. But then I was using AI for about 4 years now because I'm in school working on my degree in computer science and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, I can't even think of the last word, I'm sorry. Concentration. So I have my degree next year, and I was like, okay, everyone's talking about AI. I'm doing this. It's helping me with school because I'm a full-time student. I'm not fresh out of high school, so I needed some help. And I was able to make it sound like me. And I'm doing all these things, and I'm getting A's on my projects, and it's helping me. And so I went ahead and I took a course, an AI Essentials course, and I basically got wisdom of the knowledge that I already knew. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I was chain prompting. I didn't know that ChatGPT was a long language model. I didn't know OpenAI was the engine that the chatbot is built. I didn't know all of these things. I didn't know what one-shot prompting was. I was doing it, but I didn't have the understanding of it. And once it gave me that understanding, I was like, okay, I just don't want to add value, because I started getting all these certifications from Google and IBM and Adobe. I'm like, I'm a creator. I'm not about adding value. I'm about creating value. So how can I create value? And from there, I started learning to build bespoke AI chatbots. We build AI voice agents on phone lines that answer a minimum of 288,000 calls per day. And basically what we do is we provide conversational AI as a service for organizations, elevating how they serve better through community engagement and customer care. So our niche is in a lane. Our niche is impact. Our niche is solution. So I hope that answered it.
Yes, that absolutely did. Did it answer some of your questions? Like, who are these people and why are we talking to them? Yes? Yes. I need some feedback, you guys. Yeah.
WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a community radio station. Our mission is to provide an inclusive and participatory media platform that connects, engages, and informs every citizen and stakeholder of our community with the goal of achieving ongoing social and economic progress for all.
This is a flowing situation here, right? So it's a I give, you take, and it's a reciprocity. We love that, right? That's
Call and response.
call and response. Thank you, buddy technologist. I love that. And furthermore, I think that's what's so important, to be able to give a prompt and you get something back, right? Not just something, but something like, yep, that's the area, that's the way that I want to go. That's the destination I want to get to. So let's jump right in, you guys. You guys ready?
Yes.
Nothing hard here for sure. Just want to unpack some of your thoughts and experiences here, to share that with everyone else and help us understand, okay, how are we utilizing this thing called AI? So, Queen, you touched on it, right? You talked about ancestral AI. So we're going to stay here with like heritage and culture. So, Humble, you were in some of your keynote that we have coming up, right? You emphasize and you talk about the real origins of intelligence. Yeah? And so how does this shift the way we think about AI beyond just tech? Because we have a lot of creatives in the room.
Yeah.
So how does this help us, and how are we able to see AI versus just a technology?
Okay, so so we teach we go through different levels of value. I actually learned it from a brother by the name of Myron Golden. And the highest level of value, imagination, then communication, unification, then implementation. So many people get stuck on implementation, like, man, I ain't gonna be able to do that. I don't do this, I don't do that. But no, imagine, okay? AI was made in the image of, we can say our mind, but our body mind as well, and image is the root word of imagination, right? And I'm a believer. When I say I'm a believer, I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I don't know how many in here do. I believe we got some people in here who believe they come from a higher power and they can stay tapped into that source. So what I believe is, when you meet someone, right, you tell them you might not tell them the most important thing about you, but the most important thing that they need to know about you, right? So it's like, if I'm in a room full of musicians, I'm in a room at a grant and they're booking musicians, I'm not going to start off talking about AI. I'm going to start off talking about, I've done over 3,000 performances. I went to CIM. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And if it's AI, then I'm going to say, hey, well, we're building conversational AI systems. We're doing automations. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm going to speak at that. So when I look at God, the first thing that God told us was that we was made in God's image. And then gave us a purpose. What's up, Brother Ken? And then gave us a purpose of being fruitful, multiplying, replenishing, subduing, and then having dominion. So if God said that we were made in God's image, then that means God used God's imagination first. Right? And then God said, let's make man, human, woman and man, that's communication. In our image, that's unification. And then God molded our bodies from the earth, that's implementation. So if that's the model that God uses, how about we try it out? And so that's what we did, and that's how we were able to get into this. Like, we're living in an era right now where imagination is no longer a luxury, it's a requirement. With AI, automation, and emerging technologies evolving faster than any system that we've seen, for all of us in here to keep up, we must imagine beyond the systems that currently exist, right? Like, what if imagination wasn't just a childhood trait, but a leadership skill? All right, I'll leave it there. Good.
No, that's good though. I feel like the people still want you to keep going, but we'll keep it there for time's sake.
I'm gonna chase rabbits if I stay up here too long.
I'll be there with you. You know how we go when we have conversations. So that's what reclaiming intelligence pretty much.
Yeah, well, I kind of went off a little bit. The origins of intelligence, like my wife said, the origins of AI is AI that comes from AI, that came from AI. Meaning artificial intelligence comes from actual intelligence that was passed down by ancestral intelligence. But this ancestral intelligence was passed down through song. It was passed down through dance. It was passed down through festival. It was passed down through creativity. So it's for us to create, but intelligence, the origins of intelligence, is God, right? And imagination, I believe, is a spiritual technology of intelligence. So, and we want AI to reflect us. We have to be in the rooms where the instructions are being written. So the question is, will AI replace us? That's not the question. The question is, will we remember who we are as we shape AI? That's what I meant by telling this.
Yeah, that's really good, and that really helps us to understand, like, not looking at AI as this monster or this large mountain, but it's something that we create out of our imagination. So thank you for putting that in such a way that only you could help us see that, right? That's really good. So Queen, help us to understand. So I see some of you all standing. We definitely have more room here. I hate to put everyone on the spot, but come on in. We're family here. Come have a seat. There's plenty of seats. Some of the gentlemen moved. There's a lovely bright couch over here, some other chairs as well. So welcome in. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for coming.
So as we continue the conversation, Queen, I'll bring this over to you. So Humble touched on some of these. What I want to ask is, what does it mean to humanize AI, and how do we avoid the cultural bias being baked into AI? I know he talked about us being at the table,
Yes.
but from your experience, how do we solve for that or try to?
I mean, and the key word that you said was humanize, right? When we think of technology, when we think of AI, how many people, when you first heard AI, how many people thought about humanity or people, or, we don't really think conscientiously about
robots.
Right, we think robots, right? We've seen all the I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. That's what we think about, right? I Robot. Yeah, exactly.
So we're thinking doomsday. Most people are thinking doomsday. Oh my God, the robots are coming to get us. And now, mind you, there is some stuff going on. We see that they are using AI to create things that are not in God's image. But such is everything that our ancestors have passed down. They being the powers that be, right, are always in creating something in opposition to God's way. And so to that, I would say, we have to stay present, as we were saying, in the spirit and the mindset of God. That's the only way we can continue to humanize AI, is if we stay present in the image and mindset of God. I have to repeat that, because there is no human without God, without the higher presence, right, guiding us. If you take that away, then you do have robots, right? You have so we just have to simplify it. I think it's taking things in bites. And for me, I will say I was one of those people who was like, oh my God, this is like, I was excited, but very anxious about it as well. But I'm a creative and I'm a believer. And so those two things for me meant, okay, either I can drown in the pressure of the scariness, like, oh, AI is coming for us, and or I can rise to my assignment, right, and use this tool that's now emerging in a way that I can utilize it to then continue working on my assignment. And so I think in that way, we continue to humanize it by being present, like I said, by being present in our personal assignment and leaning into this being a tool. I think that's what we have to remember. AI is a tool. And I know when we see in the movies, we think about, like when we see and we see it now, I mean, like with Alexa, you can talk to Alexa a little bit. There's more conversational AI. We build actual conversational AI systems where they can talk to you and they seem all warm and fuzzy. But we have to remember what we're dealing with. We cannot allow ourselves to get so far off the rocker. But that's why it means you have to stay present in your rituals and your spiritual practice so that you can remember that on the other end of that line, that is not a person, okay? That is an intelligence that was created by another human being. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And so then when you think about it like that, it's like, okay, my friend called me today, or she sent me a text message. I don't hear my friend's voice in that text message, but I know it was her on the other end using a medium, using a device. So I think we just have to really remember it is a tool. And to not get caught into this, this imaginative world of like this thing is, it's still so monstrous, and it can be. But this is one thing I will say, that it's not the technology, it's the intent behind the tech. And I will continue to say that no matter what we have experienced, it's like with guns, anything else, right? Knives, You know, you might use your knives to cut things in the kitchen. Somebody
Even
else might be trying to use
music.
Right, anything. Right, music
Absolutely.
can be a weapon, or it can be something to uplift people. So I think when we're thinking about the humanization, it's always coming back to spirit. And I can't say it enough, and people might get tired of hearing it, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's the truth, and it's the only way that I know how to move forward. And I can't speak any other truth but God's truth. And so, again, and I know I'm going on that piece, but and I know there's a second piece to it, so we might have to come back to that. But that's how I stay in humanizing it, to remind myself also of the purpose and the intent in which I'm using it for.
Right.
My intent to use AI is to tell stories, but specifically to tell stories of people that look like me. And now we are in an era and an age where we can take that power back. You know, we have seen so many people try to own and start their own networks, for instance, right? And how many of us that look like us in this room own networks that we control? We have power over media. The media, mass media is the biggest imprint, you know, that is the biggest way to imprint on people. And social media is the biggest way that you can imprint on people. And so this gives us a chance to create in a way that we have not had the chance to create before, to tell our stories in a way that we have not had a chance to tell it. And to also, I know we're coming back to being present and cultural bias. I have been using, playing around with prompting for a couple of different programs. Sora, these are visual programs. Sora, VO, Gemini, a few others. And in my beginning phases, I was seeing that cultural bias. And I was specifically prompting for a project where I was creating some imagery around like the Black mother and the Messiah, the Black Messiah. And what was interesting to me, was that Messiah did not register to them as being Black or brown. And it kept generating images of a non-Black and brown child and baby. And no matter what I did, and so I said, wow, that's interesting. Even when I had typed in like angels, I was trying to prompt Black angels, and it was just not registering. So I said, wow, there's already bias within these programs because the people that are creating them and molding them and shaping them do not look like me or us. And that is why we have to be present. That is why we have to be at the tables where the curriculum and instructions are being written. That is why we have to rush with urgency. It says it in the Bible. It says it in all the Holy Scriptures. We have to rush with urgency to our assignment. Okay, and so we have to be in these spaces, no matter how small. I mean, even if you're just playing around with chat, that's training the model. That is training. If you just checking in daily, I know, like my brother, he uses it to keep track of his weight loss and his personal health. And it's like you have to be present in the times of technology, or we will get left out. And that is historically the case, as it has always been. But we have a chance to step forward. We have a chance to propel forward because of who we are, where we come from, and what's in our DNA. And I'll leave it there.
I want to.
Come on, I just have to.
So I wanted to add to that. So AI is the great equalizer, you guys. I'm just going to keep it real with you. We got a technology that everybody all around the world is learning at the same time. Like, you can't come in here and tell me, this is how AI goes, because I've been in the AI business for 10 years. Like they tell you in entertainment, this is how music goes. You know, man, I was light years ago, man, I was doing this and doing that. They can't tell you that. You know, or art, this is how it goes. That's a beautiful thing. Now, everyone's learning at their same pace. But I want you to understand this. When you're on the merge of cutting technology, right? Your learning curve is your earning curve. Okay. So the quicker you learn, the quicker you can earn. I ain't gonna tell y'all how much we making, but I can tell you this. Our AI company is doing very good, you know, and it's because we use AI to serve. It's about serving people, right? And the beautiful thing about serving people, you please God, because God put you down here to serve. God put you in your creative space, right? So that you can create a better place, right? God gave me some things that God might have not gave you, right? And God gave you some things that God didn't give me, and God gave you some things that God didn't give her, and God gave you some things that God didn't give me. Not because you're better than me, or I'm better than you, or she's better than my wife. It's because you're meant to serve me, and I'm meant to serve you. Right? And when you serve, people even pay you with a certificate of service. I promise you. We call that money. Right? So that's the beautiful thing. It's like, what problems can you fix for people? And for us, customer care and community engagement has sucked for about 30 years at least, right? So if we can take AI and we can use that to serve our people. When my wife was talking about the bias with ChatGPT, it's about a knowledge base. It's neutral. So it's only trained on the knowledge that you give it. What we do is we take our clients and they build an API key, and then we build. Well, okay. Can I explain what the API key is real quick?
Go for it. Can we know how people know by showing hands?
API, who knows what an API?
You have to.
The geniuses, the tech guys in the room.
We know Craig Platt. And by the way, Craig Platt, you'll be getting an email from us because we want to talk to you about a panel that we got coming up.
If you guys don't know, I mean, this is definitely what this space is all about. If you guys don't know who Mr. Craig Platt is, please network when we have that time. Network with this young man here. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he serves. He serves our community very well. And we were talking a couple of weeks ago. He was saying, "I'm taking a vacation from a job I don't get paid for." And that's leadership, right? That's servitude right there. And he's raising and helping young men and women as well become lead technologists, from budding technologists. So just wanted to highlight that young man. It's no who he is.
Shout out to Craig. We're active participants in the AI Roundtable Greater Human Partnership, but we got some other things that we working on because we have to be in this space, you guys. You know what I mean? Like right now, we are writing the instructions to AI. We want you to be able to use it so that you can understand. There are tools out there that'll be good to help you with your daily life, right? But for you all to understand that it's all about the knowledge base. We're working on some stuff now with I don't know if you guys ever seen the Hidden Colors movies. Anyone seen Hidden Colors in here? Okay.
I've seen them, yes.
So you might know who Kaba Kamene is. So we're working with him right now. I hit him up last year. I said, Elder Kaba, I told him what AI does. I told him when it comes to the knowledge base, I said, what if we can dead that saying that the knowledge dies with the ancestors? It dies with the elders, when they go into ancestors. He was like, I like that. I said, we can build our own AI, our conversational AI, and train it on all the things that you have been teaching us, right? And then we said we will name this, we will make it a membership-based thing, right? And we will name it, instead of artificial intelligence, we named it ancestral intelligence. A place where our people can go and learn our richness, learn who we are, learn our story, where we're going, and then become a resource for each other. So that's the power of where, okay, I'll put it this way, look, we're yielded to God. Right? We're yielded to God as our sovereign ruler. So God has blessed us with sovereignty over an assignment and put us in a realm of authority. And right now we can have our authority because we have an assignment from headquarters. Let's use this AI to where it uplifts us. There's going to be, you're going to see millionaires and billionaires who have 2 to 10 people teams because they learned how to use AI. And if you don't want to learn how to build chatbots and build conversational AI, then learn how to direct AI to do things. Because if you're worried about your job, then they're going to start hiring people like, hey, I need this done, I need this done, I need this done, can you get it done? Oh yeah, we'll use AI and get it done. Okay, and they'll pay you to do it. And that heavy lifting of that 20%, right, they get the 20-80, the 80% will be a doing, and then it'll just automatically do it. And always do it because you trained it to do it that way. And I went off for a second, but I was talking about API keys. That's the application program interface key. So we take them to the long language model of their choice. So if you're using, any of you guys use ChatGPT? Okay, great. Do you use Claude? Maybe some of y'all use Claude. Okay, great. You guys use Google? Gemini. You guys use these things. So I like to go with ChatGPT when it comes to conversational AI. I think Claude is better at coding and vibe coding, right? So if you use ChatGPT, what we do is we go to OpenAI. OpenAI is the engine that ChatGPT lives on. It's just like when Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler go buy an engine from General Motors and then they create their own model on it. So that's what you do. Now we have a model, and now we need to give it a perspective. What's its perspective? How should it view this data and view these inputs when people chat with it? And then you put the knowledge in there. And now you just took the power of a ChatGPT, and now you made it so that it can work for you or that it can represent you. And it can give your organization capacity to serve the community that you were sent here by God to serve. I'm not going to go off too far, but I wanted to go ahead and throw that in there. I'm
I
sorry.
think that's important to share some of the foundational, not only words, but actually how AI is formatted, how it's created, where it lives. Because I think that will help us formulate and understand, like, oh, so if I use this for that and that for this, then I can possibly connect with someone in this room here, right? And create an initiative where a problem lives,
Yes.
and we can get this grant. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. So, okay, we talked about heritage, we talked about culture. So now let's explore how, I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, about access, right? And equity and responsibility. So what's your advice to artists who feel overwhelmed by AI tools? And just to put things in perspective, or to give a layman term, or to help us a little bit guide this conversation, can you share a before and after example where the right prompt changed everything? I know you kind of touched on this a little bit. So how did you navigate, when you were having this issue, or the image was not coming, and after all of the descriptions, because you're a writer, right? And so how did you solve for that, or what tool did you use, and how did that change things for you?
I'll be honest, I abandoned ship. On to the next thing. I'm gonna find a different battle. I shifted my project actually. I got so frustrated, but it was really just I was playing around with it. But it was just some things I noticed, and that wasn't the only thing. I was just one example. But I will touch on the prompt piece. When the prompt shifted things for me. I'll say I've had a lot of, to quote, what's his name? Bob. Oh goodness. Painter, the Bob the Painter.
Oh, Bob the Painter.
I've had a lot of happy little accidents.
Happy little accidents.
This I know. I've had a lot of happy little accidents. Y'all missed out on some childhood if y'all didn't watch Bob the Painter. But I will say prompting has really...
Yes,
What do I have on?
Well, we got people here younger than us, and we were the last to get we were watching reruns. So.
Just say I was watching reruns, but happy little accidents as he was a painter.
The show was already over by the time.
Yes, it was definitely before my time. But I've had a lot of happy little accidents, and I have stumbled upon greatness even in prompting and unexpected goodness. Not just, I don't want to just highlight the bad things. I've had some really great happy accidents that have led to me expanding into like recently for this project we talked about All Our Babies gala yesterday. It was phenomenal. One of my projects was to create and reimagine Black birthing spaces for Black maternal health. And so I curated a video using all AI imagery video. And what I found in that process, and it was quite a tedious process and learning curve for me to create, my viewpoint was to really create something that went through the ages of Black maternal health and showing these beautiful birthing spaces and our beautiful birthing practices from ancient times to present. And so it was still an abstract piece. But what I found was that in that, and going back and forth with chat, and then taking some of those prompts from chat, and then going to video, and then hopping over to Sora, I found that in that I was able to take bits and pieces and mold and create something completely more expansive than I thought originally, and it created and generated things for me that I wasn't even thinking about in ways. So that was really cool, and it allowed me to kind of flow into a storyline and shift into a storyline that I wasn't even expecting. And so I've had, like I said, I've had a lot of happy little accidents just playing around with AI. And I would encourage people, and I think you touched on this, you asked this question, Nikki, about, for people, creatives especially, getting into AI, just try one or two things. Try one or two programs. Go to Artistly, check it out. VO, check it out. There's a lot of free programs, or you can start for free or with minimal credits, and just play around with the thing.
Come on, y'all! We got some big news, Cleveland. Your favorite community radio station, WOVU 95.9 FM, is now on iHeartRadio. That's right. No matter where you are, you can stream the voice of the village anytime, anywhere. Get all your favorite shows, the hottest community conversations, and the music that moves the culture. Now just a tap away on iHeartRadio app. So whether you're at home, at work, or on the go, take WOVU with you. Search WOVU 95.9 FM on your iHeartRadio app. Because our voices matter 24/7, and so does the mission. WOVU 95.9 FM. Our voices united, mission driven 24/7. The voice of the community. A Burton Belcar community radio station.
If you haven't tried chat yet, I really encourage you to, because it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and it is a really great tool and resource. I've had a lot of great conversations. We actually built an internal agent for our business, for our team. It's a strategy agent. And when I tell you this thing was incredible, it blew my mind. What we were doing was we were having team meetings, strategy meetings, and we would record those meetings, and then we would train the agent we called it.
We transcribed it.
We transcribed it, and then we transcribed it into text, and then we trained the agent on that knowledge base from our personal conversations and strategy sessions. And it had this knowledge database from our brains. Mm-hmm. And so when I first went to chat with it for the first time, what flipped me out was that from the first sentence, it knew who I was. It called me by name. And I said, hold on. I said, first of all, before we go any further, I said, how do you know it's me? It recognized me by my pattern, just from a few sentences, how I was typing. It recognized my pattern of speech. So that already blew me. Right. But then as I continued on asking questions on strategy and about some of our business ideas, it started giving me things that I know that was God given for me. But man, I'm telling you, I was like, God was up in the building, because it had given me a whole nother concept and ideas on how to expand my business and how to expand creatively. And I mean, so it just kind of blew my mind, because it's taking our knowledge and allowing us to expand and create in new ways without doing a lot of the grunt work, if that makes sense. Or it's building on what's already there. And so it's a cheat code. It's a great cheat code. And so I'm encouraged, and I hope you all are encouraged to try something in AI. I don't know what you all's backgrounds are, but I know we have a lot of creatives. We have some creatives in here, I'm sure we do.
Yes.
So I figured,
Creative Meetups here.
Yeah, so just try something, and if you don't like that, try something else. And I'm hoping that you all are encouraged to dive in. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you want me to say something.
Yes, because I feel you bubbling over here.
It was, one thing I want to say about AI. So we'll talk about communication, right? So if we go back to, I'm gonna go to Europe, because I know they act like Europe was the whole. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
So it wasn't only white people in Europe, but we'll talk about Europe, right? So there's a lot of things that happened in Europe where they didn't allow the common people, and sometimes the kings and queens, to even read or write, right? They just had to know the skill of battle, the skill of conquer, the skill of land. These are things they had to know. And there were popes, and there were like high priests who wrote and read and things of that nature. And then what happened is they actually started reading and writing, and then the communication got better, and it wasn't like, oh, maybe I shouldn't off with your head, just because we had a misunderstanding, because now we can communicate. And that made us more intelligent with each other. that's made us more considerate. I think consideration is like the highest level of respect. You know, an inconsiderate person is usually a disrespectful person, right? So I speak about this because now that we have AI, some people are like, how did you get that? I couldn't get that when I was chatting with it. Because you have to be more intentional with what you want. It's more intention. You don't have to focus so much on the outcome. You focus on the output because of the input you put in. And the more that we type or we talk to ChatGPT or Gemini, and you find out that the more intentional that you are, the better output that you get, you start to notice that we'll communicate with each other better. We can be more intentional with each other when we speak, because there's a lot of us who don't speak with intention. You know what I mean? Like we'll have, how can I say it? What is the word? We'll have
His
agenda, but I'll say, there's a difference between being, like you can have pure intentions, you know what I mean? But when you're intentional, you can actually manifest things. Right. You know what I mean? Like we now have the power. That's why they say AI. They say it's a great discovery, right? They don't even call it a creation. It's a great discovery. So is this something we had already? So I know I went off a little bit, but I just want you all to know that just start using the tools, find out what's out there. You know, the tools, they can cost, but you can go to Gemini, right? And it'll allow you to use VO3, which is the best image and video quality. And they'll let you do like 4 videos a day, but maybe that's all you need right now. Then the next level is $100 a month. It's like $100 a month for me to make the 4. But think about it. You can make an ad, animated ad for Pepsi or somebody where they would have had to pay almost $100,000 to get the type of animation that you did. And they're like, oh, I don't have to pay $100,000. I could just pay you $20,000. Now that $100 is like, oh, that was a great business expense because look how much money that I made. Look at the margin of profit that you will get. And there are tools out there where you can start building your own systems with AI. I'm getting more into the technology side of things.
I just want to add to that too. Not just making commercials and bits for other people, but for yourself. And it's right now we have the opportunity to invest in our own brands, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs in this day and age, right? Especially with social media, you got influencers. Who would have thought about influencers and influencing 20, 30 years ago being an opportunity to, to build your own brand and make a business out of it, right? So investing in yourself is key. If it's $100 a month, okay, try it out for a month and generate what you need and use that, stock up on that and play around. You can really, literally rebrand yourself. And I know a lot of us live on social media. I really try not to, but we are in that day and age where we just have to be present, right? If we want to be able to connect and really build and grow. And so, and again, I just wanted to say that to say, even if you're not looking to do it for other people, try it for yourself, if nothing else, to have a clean and polished brand. I can't tell you how many really great people there are out there that just need a little help on their personal, a little polish on their personal brand. And that's going to make all the difference in how people approach you, how they perceive you, and how they connect with you, and if they want to pay you for your service.
And can I add to that with personal branding? Because she's so right. It's great to be ahead of AI. I think that's number 1 right now, to be ahead of AI. But number 2 is content creation. Like, content is so important. Like, people trust a face that they can see. Like, AI can only generate about 8 seconds of a video. You still have to go in there and edit pieces together and do all types of things. But AI can't sit in front of a camera and talk for 8 minutes to half an hour, where people can trust you, where you have this personal brand, and then you have tools out there, Opus Clip or the script that can splice up that and put it together, and then you can have automation set up to where it can send a 30 email marketing campaign over 90 days so you can nurture that person that clicked on your link because they love the value that you gave them by they see you speaking about something that can help them in their life off of personal branding. And when we say lead technologist, what we mean by that is the ethics and the morals behind the technology is the lead technologist, right? And the lead technologist isn't scared to be a personal brand. Think about it. When you think of Apple, who do you think of? Steve Jobs. When you think of Microsoft, who do you think of? Bill Gates. When you think of Tesla, when you think of OpenAI, and that's what sets them apart from the IBMs and everyone. Not saying they're not doing their thing, but when you have that personal brand and people trust that personal brand behind the technology or behind the product that they're buying, you will be shocked.
Right.
People would trust it more. So we have these devices. Content is so important. And then learn AI to automate how you nurture. You guys heard of leads, right? So you capture, can I give them just a little bit soft real quick? Okay, a little bit. So say you got a video and you've been through something practical in your life and you figured out how to get past it. And now what you've learned can help somebody else if they heard you speak about it. And so now you're going on YouTube, right? And the algorithm is so great right now because people aren't searching for viral moments anymore. They're searching for information. How can I learn how to sew this? How can I learn how to cook this meal? How can I learn to start my business from my home? And how can I? Now, if you go to YouTube, because that's the greatest platform to go for video, because YouTube is where you go to and you can search what you're looking for. I can search your name on everything else, but I can't search the video that I'm looking for on any other platform. So on YouTube, if you make a long form video, it has to be 8 minutes long. Because if it's not, you won't be in the algorithm at all. Because the algorithm is to keep viewers on the platform. But if your video is less than 8 minutes, you ain't keeping nobody on the platform. But then you do it consistently, once a week, once every other week, once a month, and you stick to it, and the AI within their algorithm is going to pick up the transcripts of what you're saying, and it's going to put you in front of the people who are searching that. And then they'll come and be like, "Oh, I love what you did. I love how your videos were." You know what I mean? Man, that is so great. And you gave them all this information. And then you say, "Hey, you guys, I have a free book that I put together." And ChatGPT can come up with it for you. It gives you a roadmap on how to do these things, something you can give away for free. And they're like, "Oh, cool." So now they go in the comments and they click the link. And when they click the link, a form pops up and asks them for their name and their email. That's a lead capture. So now that you have their name and email, as soon as you sign that, now that can trigger an automation that sends email to nurture them on your other products and send them to your webinars and send them to your digital products. And it's nurturing them. And who knows, maybe they won't even jump into after the 9th email, but it was automated to send to them over 30 days or 60 days. And it's nurturing this lead while you sleep and you don't have to stay on it. And that right there is a money maker. So I hope that was just a little bit.
That's amazing. I love that. How do you call it? Wow, that's amazing. First of all, I did not realize it was 8 minutes on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the algorithm.
I had no idea.
But that's why music videos don't.
Recognize that or know that? 8 minutes?
To 8 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. 8 minutes.
Exactly.
8 minutes and above. Yeah. That's why a lot of us musical, our videos are like 2-3 minutes. And you're like, why ain't nobody saying it? Because you have to pay for ads for people to see it. Or you got to go on podcasts because people are watching podcasts because they're getting information, right? For people to know what your music is. But you are an expert at something. You might be an expert at struggling. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real. Like, our people are experts. As we look good as we struggle, you never know, right? It's for real. So people want information, and that's the value of your content. It's not so much the quality of the video, it's the quality of the information.
Yeah, that's really good. I absolutely love that. Again, another round of applause for those who know it dropped. I will share this, so going back to Queen's point about creating, your brands and things like that. So I was struggling so much with my brand and my logo. Like, what does that look like? Is it my face? Is it just words? Do I just use my name? What does that look like? So AI helped me create my logo. And I actually have two, depending on, what it's for and who it's serving. And it looks polished. It looks like all the things. So those are the individuals and the type of clients that I want to attract. And because I created that, those people come to me. they send me an email or they DM me and they ask like, oh, what's your price list? So I'm like, I love that so much. And it took out the struggle, and the challenge for creating that on my own or having to send out to a third party such as Fiverr or something like that. So that's amazing. That's cool. And I hope that you guys are using those tools as well to create, who knows, a logo for yourself or
a business plan.
An AI assistant to help you with your emails. I know AD was talking about this earlier, the end of last week sometime, because he said, I just can't. I'm getting an overwhelming amount of inquiries for my business in this venue. If you guys don't know, AD Jackson over here is the owner and founder of Lounges CLE. So he's utilizing technology and AI for himself and his business to help grow his business. Why? So that he can have time to create this and curate this space versus going back and forth with the communication via email, right? Although that's important, right? Those are the leads there. But I didn't want to miss that, and I think that's so cool. Real life examples here of what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, that's so important. Yeah, when you can, like I always say, imagine a entrepreneur automating their online storefront and gaining the time, gaining the freedom to focus on their art. Like that's so important. It's going to be a little heavy lifting at first. You got to learn how to prompt, learn how to put these systems together. But now it's going. Now you got an automated sales engine or you got an automated response engine. And that's a beautiful thing because now you don't have to worry if the business is representing what you needed to represent as you continue to focus on what really matters. How can I create more impact? How can I just create more? And that's the beautiful thing. It saves time because AI is not smarter than you. I know people say AI is the smartest in the room. AI can access data way quicker than you can. So you can give it a PDF and it'll be like, this is what this is. Okay, so it gave you information quicker so that you can cognitively process data better than AI. But AI accesses data faster than you.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. We want people to understand that. Like, it is not smarter than you. But as it's learning, let's train it on the beauty that we are. And then let's connect with each other because some of us aren't meant to implement. Some of us are meant to manage, unify. Some of us are meant to unify. Some of us are meant to communicate. We so good at speak. So many of us got so much good to say, and we just brutalize it by the time we come out. Like, I don't even want to know it no more, right?
We use all that energy that we're not really good at. We're tapping outside of our genius.
Exactly. And some people are good at just, they're visionaries. They have imagination, and it's about all of us coming together so that we can go ahead and uplift ourselves because now we can. Everybody talking about reparations, y'all. We can get it now. Like, we can get it right now. Can I give them one example?
Let's go.
So, businesses miss about 65% of their calls. I'm talking about enterprises too, all the way down to solopreneurs, right? And it's not because maybe you're just procrastinating or you just don't want to answer the call. Maybe you're busy working on a project. Maybe you're busy working on a deliverable or you're handling a client. Or maybe you're just on the phone with someone else. So what if there is, because we built them, an AI that can answer every missed call. Or it just answers all your calls. And you've trained it to converse with people and get everything that they need. Book appointments. It can send automations and it converses with them so that they don't have to wait. How many times have we called an institutional organization and you have to wait? And then they call you back when it's inconvenient. Or you finally get them after a few hours and then the call drops. It's like, dang, like it's building trauma for you already. But when people feel like they're served, right, I don't want to talk to AI, but then once they speak to these phone lines, they, oh, I'm happy because I got exactly what I was looking for.
At any time of the day.
At any time of the day, 24/7. So we build these agents that answer a minimum of 288,000 calls per day. So if people are calling in and they're trying to get information, and then it sends you a transcript, it sends you a summary, and it sends you an audio recording of the call. So now that you can go ahead and you ain't got to worry, did I miss a call? How many of us would be happy if all those missed calls we actually knew who that was, what they wanted, what they were trying to get, and we can go ahead and get back to them. So that's just one power of what AI can do. And that's what we're going to see. It's going to get us back to connecting with each other. I'm sorry, you guys, I got to send all these emails. I wish I can come out and build with you. So that's...
And I was going to add to that too. The other part of it is we're talking about having impact. We're not just talking about businesses. We're talking about social systems too.
Yeah.
So imagine, and I don't know if anyone's ever dealt with Social Security, but I'm with a group called Mother to Mother that represents mothers of children with special needs. And I can't tell you how many of these mothers I have talked to that have waited on call with Social Security for 7, 8, 9 hours with no answer just to set up an appointment, just to get some basic information. I mean, who has a whole work day to sacrifice not to get a call and get some basic information that you can't get on the website?
Right.
Because you have to make the call to set the appointment, because on the website it says that's what you have to do. How many times can I do that in a week, in a month, before I lose my job? I mean, we're talking about really, again, customer service has been terrible on all fronts. We're not just talking about businesses and small, we're talking about social services as well. Imagine if you could just call in and get what you need, get your appointment, and you're on your way. I've had a mom who was online for 7 hours and a quarter to midnight. As she was about to hang up the phone and her phone was about to die, someone answered, thank God. But think about the trauma that creates. I mean, the trauma of just having to sit around and wait, and I'm on my phone, but I got to deal with my kids, and I got to cook dinner, but I got a phone, and then I got to and I got to sit down and make sure I don't miss the call. It's a lot of trauma just to do something, one simple thing for one purpose of your entire life. So we're talking about the bigger picture of helping to make the human connection better. Communication is connection. When we break it down, we have to have communication to connect. Even if it's signing, I can't talk to you and speak to you unless I'm connecting. Even if it's telepathically, it is a connection. There is an energy there. So we were talking about bettering communication so that we can better connection, so that we can better the human experience on all fronts for everybody. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit in.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing that, Queen. And that gives us a bit more perspective and understanding into how impactful and fusing AI into our lives, right? So, you guys, I have so many other questions here, so many other topics that I wanted to discuss and talk about. But guess what? We are on
We were chasing rabbits.
No, you were dropping gems. That's what you were doing. So I let it breathe, right? So, you guys, so we're just gonna close right there because I think you guys just shared everything. I'm so excited.